Hey everyone, this is Dr. Christine Kaczmar. You are listening to Smart Digestion Radio, episode 26.
What do you get when you cross Albert Einstein with digestive enzymes and a fistful of kale? Smart Digestion Radio with Dr. Christine Kaczmar, the all things diet, nutrition, vitality show for the wellness-minded.
Alrighty, so now you're going to hear Dr. Meg. I'm going to interview my pal, Dr. Meg Haworth. I love her. She's super kind. That really resonates when you hear her voice. I'm sure you picked that up in the previous episode. But now we're going to talk about her area of expertise, where she's really helping people who have unresolved emotional complaints that are really challenging their overall well-being and their health. And so she's going to talk a little bit about her technique that she utilizes to help people clear these really corrosive emotions. So I hope that you'll enjoy, and I will catch you on the other side.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Christine Kaczmar here, and today's guest is Dr. Meg Haworth. Dr. Meg I met on Periscope, and I just love what she talks about. We have a lot of things that are in alignment, and so I'm really excited to have her today. And let me just tell you a little bit about Dr. Meg before we get into it. She is a holistic psychologist, nutrition strategist, and private celebrity chef. Dr. Meg Haworth helps people with chronic illness heal themselves with food and the power of the mind, which we're going to be talking about today. Having healed over a dozen illnesses and traumas of her own, including fibromyalgia, IBS, post-traumatic stress disorder, drowning, and being struck by lightning, can you believe that? Dr. Meg now employs the tools and strategies she learned to recover her health from those illnesses in her coaching program called Get Well Soon. She's the author of 5 books in health and cooking, self-help. She teaches cooking for wellness at Whole Foods markets and has been featured in the LA Times and NBC Nightly News, holds a PhD in transpersonal psychology. Everybody, welcome Dr. Meg Haworth. Hey, Dr. Meg.
Hi.
So good to have you on. Thank you for being here.
It's so exciting to be here. I'm just so thrilled to be able to talk to your people and talk to you. It's just
I know
awesome.
It's great having that other element. You know, it's just like one-sided with the Periscope stuff. But tell us, like, before we get into like the meat of our discussion here today, tell us a little bit about where they could find you on Periscope.
I am at Dr. Meg Haworth, DrMegHaworth, which is also my Twitter handle, and email. I mean, you can find me all over the place at that.
Yeah, and they'll be in the notes of the broadcast later. So, but just people like watching right now, maybe they're in their car and they just at least want to like have the memory, and they might not go to the show notes. So cool. Thanks for that. So like I was saying in the intro, one of the things I just love about you is you could just tell by looking at you that you are kind, you're authentic, and that you're really smart. So let's talk a little bit about this lightning thing. I have to get that out of the way. Can you share a little bit about that, because that's pretty fierce of a stress?
Oh my gosh, talk about fierce. I like, that's a perfect word for it. Yeah, being electrocuted by a lightning bolt is no joke.
Oh, joke.
It's no joke. But boy, was it an experience. I was on Venice Beach, California, and it's, you know, we just don't get storms in Southern California like once every 5 years, 10 years. And there was a storm way out at sea, and I'm sitting on the beach with my friend. We're sitting in the wet sand near the waterline, and there are dark clouds above us, which in LA means nothing.
Yeah.
It's like it's never going to rain. So I had no idea there's this phenomenon called out of the blue lightning, where a lightning bolt just travels across the top of the clouds and gains energy and speed and just grounds somewhere. And that's what happened to us. It hit ground about 20 feet away from us in the water line. And then so what we got really was the ground current, because being struck by a bolt directly, you would die. Because it can be up to, I've heard 1 billion volts of electricity in a lightning bolt. I've heard a number of different numbers, but we're talking about millions of volts, and we look at our light switches, and those are 220? And you can die on that. So it's just like, but that's alternating current. This was direct current.
Yeah.
And then you just can't control where the current went. But the things that happened with me, I was damaged in 3 areas of my brain because lightning hits the central nervous system. And I was damaged in my legs, the muscles and nerves in my legs, and a disc in my lower back. So I did talk to some doctors, actually a doctor who specializes in lightning strike victims from Johns Hopkins University, and I learned a lot from him. I talked to the head of Lightning Strike International Survivors International Support Group for Lightning Strike Survivors, which is cool. I mean, there's a support group for everything.
There really is. I was going to say that same thing, but I didn't want to be insensitive.
No. I love all like I make lots of jokes. My sisters and I were making all these jokes about, it's so shocking that I went through that. And this is like days after,
Oh, wow.
Keeping it light.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you do have a lot of them. That really sparked my interest when we, sorry.
Great. I love it.
Why don't you go be in the hardware and get some bolts, Dr. Meg? All right, I'll stop. Go ahead.
Being in the lightning joke. We're doing stand-up today.
We are.
Awesome. So, it was a really tough recovery. It's been a little over a year, and I'm still recovering from it, but I'm much better. And what I ended up choosing, I weighed out the different options from the doctors that I talked to in the Western medical world, regarding the disc damage and all of that. And I decided to go with my chiropractor, and I'm so happy I made that decision because otherwise I would have been in surgery. So. And I am so much better. I mean, so chiropractic, I did a lot of work with, exercise too, worked with a personal trainer for a little bit, a lot of walking and hiking and just rebuilding up the muscles of my legs, rebuilding the communication between the legs and the brain. And then I also fed myself with fat.
Which are great for the nervous system.
High fat content. I found this amazing fish oil supplement out of Sweden that I believe saved me. I mean, I could tell the difference so quickly. Like within 2 weeks, I just felt like, am I the same person I was 2 weeks ago?
So I'm interested. What was your dosing schedule with that fish oil? How often were you taking it? Were you taking it with food, empty stomach? How did you do that?
I would do an empty stomach, and I would do a teaspoon and a half a day. And it's a fish oil that was stabilized by high quality olive oil. So the polyphenols in the olive oil preserved the fish oil. Mm-hmm. So there was no fish odor in it. And I had learned too that a lot of the fish capsules that are out there, if you poke a hole in them, and it smells like the worst rotten fish you've ever smelled, it's actually rancid and will do the opposite of what you need it to do, which is reduce inflammation, which is the beauty of fish oil. And what it was doing in my body is it was reducing all that inflammation from the nervous system and the brain.
Okay. So you get struck by lightning. You find out you want to go a different route. You see your chiro. You start taking fish oil. You start to dramatically improve. How long would you say the process was from front to end before you felt like you were yourself again?
That's a great question. I love it.
Are you still working on that?
I'm still working on it. But, it's funny you said that because even in the last couple of days, I've been, waking up in the morning and going, oh, wow, that feeling I had in my brain, like I would get the seizing feeling on the right frontal or right temporal lobe of my brain, especially when I get overtired. And I've been kind of pushing it lately. As we do as entrepreneurs. But I have not been feeling that. So I'm sort of still noticing differences, but I think, I'm at, close to, at least 90% at this point from where I was. So it's been over a year. It took over a year. Brain injuries are a really long, slow process of healing.
So this happened a year ago?
A year and a little over a year ago, year and 4 months ago at this point. So what was that? It was July 27th of 2014.
Wow. So you were already a PhD before this happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So that's what I want to talk about next is this technique that you use, which is about the whole person integration technique. You talked to me about that. That's intriguing. Mm-hmm. I know you said that you do a lot of this mindset healing aspect of things with your clients. Go ahead and just tell people about this technique, and then we'll get more deep and in depth about it.
Okay, sure. Whole person integration technique came out of a type of therapy that I learned in my transpersonal psychology program called Rohan therapy, and it's working with the emotional issues that are directly in the body. So I look at where is it located in the body. So for instance, a person comes to me and they're talking about their relationship with their mother. They're not getting along, and they're feeling agitated and upset. And so we start talking about, well, what emotion is strongest here? What are you feeling? And so they get in touch with, well, I'm really, really frustrated. So then we look at that frustrated part of the self, and what does it look like? What does it feel like? What's it thinking? I ask it very specific questions. And then we start to reveal that this is really a pattern that's been going on for a long time. It's not just something that comes up with mom, but it's an emotional hamster wheel
Yes.
that people run on over and over and over again, and experiences in their life keep sort of validating this emotion and bringing it up. And I think that our emotions are really messengers that are sent to help us understand and heal ourselves, and that we just need to listen to what they have to say. So I don't think of them as negative emotions. I think of them as teaching emotions.
Messengers. That's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah. And that actually came from there's a wonderful poem by Rumi. And he talks about them. It's called The Guest House. And he talks about the emotions as being messengers that come from the great beyond. And so I see that as that, because I work with a holistic system. I work with mind, body, and soul. I see the emotions as the messenger that communicates between the personality, which is your mental and emotional self, and your soul, which is that's the who you know you are. It's where all of your gifts, your talents, your skills, your abilities, all of those things come through that part of you. Through that soul part. So these emotions are the connector between those two things. And when we resolve this emotional piece that's in the body, so say, we were talking about this woman who's frustrated with her mom. She's feeling it in her stomach. And so we look at that frustrated self and I have her describe, what's that pain like? Well, it's searing, or it's stabbing, or it comes and goes, or it's, so that gives a lot of information about, really looking at the symbology behind what's going on with the emotion and how it's affecting the physical body. And so then I get them to the point where they really understand this part of the self. They're ready to embrace the part of the self and let it go. Where they just don't, I don't want that in my stomach anymore. Why am I carrying this? I see how it's affecting me. I see how it hurts my body. And so I help them release it through the process of whole person integration technique. And then afterwards, I have them check in. How's your stomach feel now? And every single time, wow, it's calm. Or I feel it's lessened. There might be a little tightness still, but there's a difference, and they'll feel the difference. But what's really cool is to watch them as they move forward in their lives, to see the differences that occur in their reality. So they may end up being in a argument with their mom again, or their mom brings up something and it no longer has the emotional charge that it once did, and so the person's not even hooked in anymore. So
that's great.
So it creates a freedom in their lives where they get to see that, wow, I was triggered by that before, and now that doesn't trigger me anymore. Yay, I've made progress. And there's layers and layers and layers of these emotional archetypes that we hold in our bodies. And so we just go through the different layers and help them release them. And then, what shows up is a different person on the other end of it.
All right, everybody, this episode is brought to you by Omega Digestion, omegadigestion.com. This is my company. It's doctor formulated, custom formulated products. I have 3 products in my line right now. If you'd like to learn more about them, go to bit.ly/Omega Profile. That's bit.ly/Omega Profile. At Omega Digestion, our mission is to bring plant-based enzyme nutrition and healing botanicals out of the perplexing chemistry class and into the mainstream lunchrooms and family tables. We are working to reintroduce the essential necessities food has on healing, repairing, and nourishing our bodies. By developing an effective, filler-free, and affordable product line,
we aim to support the incredible importance digestive health has on millions of people. To check out our 3 products, go to omegadigestion.com/smart for a special offer. That's omegadigestion.com/smart. How rewarding that must be to see them transform before your eyes, not to mention how fantastic it is for the person you're helping, but I'm sure you get to see that. I mean, these people that you see over the phone, in person, both?
Yes, yeah, Skype, phone, however we can communicate. It's amazing watching the changes in their lives and how the reality, the things that they've been wanting in their lives, they're able to bring them in now because they have the energetic room for them to come in. So it's really powerful.
All right, great. So what would you say are some of the more common manifestations that people that you work with are experiencing? Like, are you seeing it mostly be stomach pain? Like, what are some of the top 3 things that come to mind of where people are holding these emotions, these messengers that haven't been properly worked out?
Stomach, abdominal, those are the top. And then we also look at there's a lot of tension in the shoulders, neck, and back. Those are the top things. But yes, because, the stomach is associated with, it's your center of personal power, confidence. And we live in the U.S., we live in a culture where it's all about do, go, go, go.
Yes.
And the abdominal is that's associated with your immune system. We know this from the work that you and I do too. It's also the archetype of the inner child, and it's the emotional, what we call the emotional body in holistic psychology. So in the stomach we call it the mental body. And so those are the 2 parts of the personality where we hold the majority of our stressors, our beliefs, thoughts, and feelings that are creating the stress in our experience, that when we release those, we recognize, understand, and release them, then things just really, really change in your life. And it doesn't mean that you won't have difficult moments. It doesn't mean that you won't have these emotions come up again and feel like you've gone right back to where you were. It just means there's another layer that's coming up, and it's time to work on that next layer. Or, you're just having a bad day. We all have them, and it's okay. We're not looking for like this perfect, happy la la land, but we are looking for general overall happiness, and we can all attain that.
So I think that a lot of people today, like when I sign off on my Periscope, I'm always saying, love yourself healthy. I think that a lot of people still have a way to go with this victim mentality and not thinking that they're in control, which has a lot to do with mindset. What are some of the things that you're seeing that people need to, what are some strategies you could give our audience, our listeners, to help them with their mindset, to be in the driver's seat, to be in control of their life in a way that maybe they haven't even considered? There must be some shortcomings that you kind of see over and over again. What are some things, some tips, some strategies you could be giving people to help with that? Because it's so critical that where your thoughts go, you go. I mean, your thoughts have everything to do with your health. And a lot of people still think that that's, they poo-poo it. They don't think that that's true. There's no way that it can come from my thoughts. And it's so true. Like even in my practice, I'll see patients who are doing great and they'll come back and they'll see me and they have a flare-up, or they're having, a bloody stool or something like that. And I'm like, okay, so what's going on with your life? And they're like, how is the relationship? Fine. How is this? How is work? Oh, well, what do you mean? I've been working like 80 hours this last 2 weeks. Okay, well, there's your problem. So people don't really connect or link up their emotions with their physical illnesses. So let's talk. Have you talked to us, Dr. Meg, about what people could be doing? What are some keys to help with the mindset?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, everything you covered is just so real and so true. And people do separate it. And I think the big reason that we separate out the mental and emotional from the physical is because our culture has done so. You've got your medical doctor takes care of your physical. Your psychologist takes care of your mental, emotional. Your priest or shaman or healer takes care of the spiritual. So, but the thing is, we're all one system. And separating it out has been, I think, one of the big detriments of why we can't really put it all together. But putting it all together is where the real healing happens. So in terms of mindset, one of the first things I tell people is to monitor your thoughts, because we just don't even realize the junk we tell ourselves. I mean, I still do it. I still have to monitor my thoughts. It's like, why are you telling yourself that? Meg, you would not talk to your friend that way. So, what are the things you're telling yourself? And when you just start really listening to, you just told yourself you were an idiot because you just did something stupid. That self-deprecating is creating damage in your biology that you're not even aware of. And if you recycle this thought over and over and over again for years and years and years on end, it reduces your biological system. So it's hard for you end up with a chronic disease, because then you're probably also eating the junk that is, and this is the stuff you take care of, the junk that is exacerbating that whole condition. So thought monitoring. Are you speaking to yourself the way that you would speak to somebody that you really love, to your best friend? And shifting that thought. And one of the ways you shift that thought is to start to tell yourself the best parts of who you are. What are your skills, your talents, your abilities, the things that you're bringing into the world that people appreciate you? And if you're having a hard time locating what those are in yourself, ask your best friend, what is it you love about me? What is it you see in me? And, when they start saying, oh my God, you're so kind and thoughtful and generous and caring, and, you're just always there for me, and I know I can always depend on you. So you're dependable and reliable and all of these things, just open up and receive it, because a lot of us, especially women, we're poor receivers. Open up and receive the compliments, but write them down. Write them down, because these are all the aspects of yourself that the person that loves you most sees in you. Write them down, put them on your wall, and then begin telling yourself these things, because this is the truth of who you really are versus the personality of who you think you are that you've been told. You were probably told by your early conditioning from your parents or people around you that you were, maybe not that smart. This is one of the things I was told. You're not academically inclined. You're not that smart. And it took me a long time to understand. I'm brilliant. What are you talking about? But I'm just not book smart. So, or I'm just not smart in the way that the federal government says we should be smart, because I don't test well. Yeah. But, newsflash, neither was Einstein. So anyway, so there, all these different things to look at, different things to tell yourself to shift your mindset. And then, so you put that list up and you add to it. You add to it the compliments that people give you. You add to it the things that you know about yourself that you're really great at. And the things that you want to build. So say, I think I really need to learn to be more compassionate. So enter the study of compassion. Yeah. There's so many great teachers out there. There's the Dalai Lama, there's Pema Chodron, and they're giving you all this great information on compassion and what that means. What is it? What's it like to live that life and build that quality in yourself? So
yeah, this is great, Meg. I loved how you said, quote, self-deprecating is causing damage to your biology. That I wrote that one down. That one's a reuser. That's really well said. And the thought monitoring. So then are you an advocate of journaling?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how about leaving like index cards with like sayings on them around your home or where you're driving as reminders of how good you are? I mean, not that I'm trying to toot my own horn, but I don't like to run at all. I hate running, but I ran a 10K recently, and I put my bib number on my visor in my car. So whenever I pull my visor down and I see that, I'm reminded, oh yeah, you ran that 10K and you never run. Good for you.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
So
that's great.
It could be little things like this. Is this something that you completely endorse and tell people to do?
Absolutely. I've got it in my home. I've got it just sitting up on my mirror. It's like, I am brilliant. I am kind. I am focused. The things too that I need to do, like focus more in my business or commitment, determination, all these things that I feel like I want to build more. I put those on my mirror too. They're on Post-it notes. So yeah, I totally recommend that. It's a great thing because it's, becoming your own cheerleader is like one of the best things you can do.
Yes, it is. And why is it so hard, do you think? Like, why is it so hard for us to receive compliments and adoration? I mean, there must be something to that. Like, what is this because we're not taught this enough, or innately there's something askew? What do you think the reason for that is? It's hard to receive compliments. So why do you think we're like that?
It is. And a lot of it is, yes, it's the conditioning of the culture at large. There's this whole, do you remember like when you were a kid and, someone on the playground would say something to you like, you think you're so great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you would just feel like, oh no, I'm not supposed to be so great.
Yeah.
So we get this conditioning, we get this messaging so early on. And, what's wrong with thinking you're great?
Right.
What's wrong with looking at what your personal greatness is? Because we all have our own personal greatness that we bring to this planet. And I think we're here to live that service to help others with whatever our personal greatness is.
So that is substantial what you're saying right here. This is wonderful. Can we get a second way that we could help with this to help our mindset be more on the right path to greatness and to health and to wellness?
Let's see. Wow. There are so many different things. I think one of the things that is helpful is to connect. Well, meditation. Let's go with meditation. I mean, that is such a powerful practice because that takes you inside of yourself. And the other thing that was coming up was just spending time in nature and connecting with the natural world, going for walks, doing something that's breaking the pattern of the monotony of your day and of the stressors in your life. Something where you're giving something to yourself that is powerful and meaningful. Just watching a sunset is just, like if you really take the time to sit in that moment and really appreciate the fact that you get to do this. And I think that's one thing right there is telling yourself in your day, I get to do this thing. Like it's setting up this expectation of excitement and happiness. Like today, it's like, I get to talk to Dr. Christine. That's what I told myself today. And I was like, so excited. I'm like, texting, I get to do this podcast. I'm so excited.
That's going to be the highlight of your decade, Dr. Meg, talking to me, right? Totally,
yes.
Totally kidding. Just in case anyone thinks I'm serious, I am not. That's hilarious. I love that. So yeah, it's like, it's giving yourself something to look forward to. Making that a scheduled thing as well, that you're doing this for you, like taking back control of what you're going to do to help yourself feel better and happy and just, it's amazing. I mean, I remember one time, kind of what you were saying about doing something for yourself. I remember one time I hadn't played softball in ages, like since probably, I don't know, maybe when I was 20 or something. And I remember I was walking to my car with my bag, with my bat in there and everything. And I remember as I was walking saying to myself, this is for you. And then I haven't said that to myself in a long time since. So it's a good reminder to kind of just say, this is for you. We don't do that enough.
Absolutely. That's so true. So true. I think, yeah, you were right too, that we are really ingrained in, I think women especially we're nurturers, caretakers. We want to take care of everyone else. And the last person we take care of is ourselves. And it's, it's the first person we really need to be taken care of. But then there's this whole thought that you're being completely selfish if you quote unquote take care of yourself. But it brings so much more love to the table.
Yeah.
And so much more love to the people in your life when you are loving you. And that's essentially what we're talking about.
So tell our listeners a little bit about your coaching program, the Get Well Soon program. Tell us more about that and how we could, learn more and seek out your services. Because I'm sure there are a lot of listeners who would love to participate in this whole person integration technique and get to the root cause of some of their emotional stressors.
Yes, absolutely. And that's one part of the program. And I teach them how to do the technique on themselves. So that's another powerful thing. They get a lot of tools from the program, but the program is a 3-month program. And so it's for people, who are they're not well, you know? So it's sort of shepherding them through some of the very same things, or many of the very same things that I learned through my own process of healing fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome and irritable bowel syndrome and traumas. And so I have a lot of experience on the personal level, but also on the professional level. And I think, you know, that's something that's really helpful for people to have. Oh, well, she's been there. That makes me feel better about it.
Sure.
But I start with a personal food inventory and a life path assessment for people. So we go through food, which is the underpinning. You know, as a nutritional chef to celebrities here in Hollywood, I've helped people with diets for specific conditions. You know, like I worked with a cancer patient. I worked with somebody who had chronic candida, and, you know, just people who wanted an anti-inflammatory diet because they need to be in top shape for, you know, actors in Hollywood who are on TV shows are, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable what they put them through. So they need to really be in top shape and health. So anyway, so I do the food assessment. I create a food plan for them and help them implement that plan. And when I say it's a food plan, it's not just a diet that you're going to do for a little bit. It's a lifestyle that you're shifting your life into, to help support your health. And the food tastes great. You're not going to feel like you're missing anything. You're not eating cardboard.
That's a relief.
And then we go into an environmental assessment. And so we look at the toxins in your environment, the cleaning products that you're using, and how that may be affecting your endocrine system. It may be affecting, just affects your entire body. The body products that you're putting on your body, the makeup that you're using. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of the makeup companies that are out there are highly toxic, that they're like cancer cocktails. So anyway, so there's an environmental assessment we do, and then we do the whole person integration technique. So we look at that core emotional issue that's running the show of your life. Each one of us has it. It's been described by some people as your emotional addiction. So you may enter sadness a lot.
Okay.
You feel victimized a lot, and that's like where your core emotional thing is. And so we work through that, and then we come up with this whole plan of change. So
Exciting.
And then it's healing your relationship with food. I give you a personal mind tool to use that's tailored to you, and then building a new foundation for a healthier life for you. And that includes creating a team of wellness practitioners. And so, you know, Dr. Christine, you're on my team.
Oh, all right.
You know, because you're definitely somebody I would refer people to.
Thank you.
To help them with their digestive issues.
Thank you.
So yeah, because I think that's important. It's that I know for me, when I went through my whole healing process, that having a team of healers to help me through is what really did it. And not relying on just one practitioner for everything, because I think we're all meant to be here in community and to help each other out. And I can't do everything, you know? So
I agree.
Yes.
A team is a good thing, especially the right team. So how can people find you? I know your website is meghaworth.com. So MEGHAWORTH.com. Are there other ways that people could connect to you or find your books?
Yes. On my website, there's a shop category, so you can go get my books off my website there. And then there's also I have a private Facebook group called Get Well Soon. And that's for people with chronic illness or people that are just interested in health and wellness. So we talk about a lot of what you and I are talking about, from mindset to what to eat for dinner. You know, like, what am I going to have? So there's that. There's my fan page where I put up a lot of little snippets and things for people to kind of get you thinking about wellness. And then Also, of course, the podcast series.
Yeah, well,
I have a podcast series. I just interviewed you, and it's fantastic, guys. You've got to listen to her interview. It's so much juicy stuff in there on leaky gut syndrome.
Thank you. So my final question to you is, what is your absolute favorite thing about the work that you do with these people and helping them? What is your favorite part about that?
Oh my God, I just got a little choked up just hearing that question.
Because it's amazing work what you're doing, and I just want you to share with everyone, why do you love doing what you do so much?
I love watching people learn how to really love themselves in mind, body, and soul. It's the most rewarding thing you could possibly imagine, to watch them shift and change and grow into the person they know they really are, and they just haven't been able to make that leap because they're so entrenched in the who they think they are. So I say there's the who you think you are and the who you know you are, and there's that gap between that. And that's the gap that I walk people through. And to get to do that, to have people allow me into the deepest, darkest regions of themselves to help them heal and get well is like,
yeah,
such an honor. Such an honor.
Yeah.
So, and I know you can relate to this.
I do. I completely know. I can almost just even see your face. We're not doing this. We're just doing audio only. But yeah, I can't see you, but I know what your face looks like, which is so full of just joy, and you just, Dr. Meg, you do such a special thing for people by helping them heal their older wounds. I mean, these places of themselves that they never even knew were connected to their thoughts or emotions or messengers, as you refer to them as. I mean, that's just so fantastic what you're doing. So I, for one, just want to say how much I admire you, and I appreciate what you're doing for people who need your help. And so people that are listening, you know what, we'll find her. It'll be in the notes. But any parting thoughts, Dr. Meg, before we close today?
Oh, wow. I'm so excited to have this whole conversation and exchange with you. And thank you so much for having me on. There's, we have so much inside of us, each one of us. I mean, we have the entire universe is inside of you. And, exploring your own universe is the most rewarding and best thing you can ever do. And it's not easy. It can be very difficult going into the deepest, darkest parts of the self. It can be very difficult changing your diet, and your mindset and all of that. But it is, I guarantee, the most rewarding thing you will ever do, because who you come out to be on the other side of that is your greatest self. And that's how you get to serve humanity. And there's nothing better than just serving, just serving and helping people get well.
That is wonderful to hear you to speak those words. I just adore what you have to say. And one thing that really rings true with what you're saying is how anyone that may be listening who is suffering in any way, that you're providing hope. And I just think that is such an important ingredient to healing. And you have it all over. I mean, you're just copious hope coming out of you. And I think that really is incredible, because it's not an easy thing to dive in on your behalf, to dive into these people, their past and all these injuries and traumas. I mean, that you have to be a very certain type of person to do what you do and have a very compassionate heart. And how cool it is that we met, that we're friends on Periscope, and now we're talking this way. And so we're getting to share your light with the people listening. And so I'm very, very pleased that we were able to have this interview, because people need you. They need you in droves.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you as well. And thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share my
You're welcome.
heart.
It's my pleasure. All right, everybody. Well, I hope that you, of course. Yeah. I just adore you, like I said. So thanks for being here, Dr. Meg. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I certainly know that you've taken away a lot of great tools, whether it's about tuning up your mindset with thought monitoring or meditation, or looking at nature in a different way, or getting some bird seed for your birds, or just anything about becoming a better version of yourself, like Dr. Meg said. That's what this interview is all about. And so we really appreciate you taking the time to listen, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
All I have to say there is wow. Just wow. When She talks about emotions are messengers. That was really a light bulb moment for me in this interview, as well as self-love. Those of you who have listened to me or been over in my Facebook group know I love to say love yourself healthy. This is an ambition for us all, myself included. So I really, really enjoy Dr. Meg's conversation and talking about your emotions and how we need to really, really release them and clear them. Otherwise, we are not going to live our fullest life. We are not going to have our fullest potential available to us. So key, so essential. So please make sure to check out Dr. Meg Haworth. Alrighty then, another episode of Smart Digestion Radio is in the books. However, the conversation never stops there. Great hubs to connect with me are going to be my Facebook page, which is The Digestion Doc. That's my handle on Twitter and Instagram as well. If you are interested in joining my community, my private inner circle over on Facebook, go to healthyrebelsfb.com. That's healthyrebelsfb.com. And my other main sites are thedigestiondoctor.com and omegadigestion.com. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being a part of the mission. My mission is to save 5 million lives from the broken medical model, and I cannot do it alone. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.